Hey, you guys. Welcome to Talk About It Thursday, another edition of Talk About It Thursday. It is May, you guys, so we are getting our summer started. This is a time of expectation. This is a time to watch things grow. This is a time to see if everything that we've planted since January, if it's actually working for us. Everything that we said we were going to do at the beginning of the year. Now is the time where we should start seeing a seed. Hey, Wendy, seeing a seed, seeing things start to grow in our lives, because we've had 5 months, you guys, in this year to make some necessary changes. So we should start seeing some signs that our life is getting better, seeing some signs that you're not the same person that you were in 2024. Not last week, but the week before, because you guys were nice enough to let me take some time off for my birthday. Thank y'all so much. I love y'all for all the happy birthday wishes. This is chapter 57. I'm excited about it. And I just want to tell you guys that Sister I Got You would not be the success that it is without you guys. I would not be the person I am without you guys, because you guys keep me accountable. You guys keep me on my toes. You guys make me raise the bar, make me want to be a better person. Therefore, I can talk to you about being better. There's no point in me talking about you stepping up your game if I don't step up mine. So I thank you, because this challenges me to step outside of the box. It challenges me to be an example for somebody else, because the last thing I want is to see any of my sisters holding their head down. It is so important to me that I remind each and every one of you to hold your head up, straighten that crown up. You know, life is hard. Hey, Denise, life is hard, but you know what? God made you of some tough stuff. There's nothing too hard for God. There's nothing too hard for you, because God created you. So I just want to say to each and every one of you, thank you so much for being a part of our podcast on Thursdays, and for pushing me to be a better woman, pushing me to be a better example, pushing me to operate in the gifts that God has given me. So I thank y'all for that, because I could not do it without your support. So you guys, the week before we talked about ain't no half-stepping. We're not doing no half-stepping this year. We're not going to keep talking about the same old stuff we talked about for the last 3 years. We're not going to keep dealing with the same old people that aren't helping us grow. We're not going to keep doing the same stuff that keeps us stuck where we are. Ain't no half-stepping. And today, there's not going to be any trespassing either. So you have got to make up your mind that some things cannot go with you into your new life. You get an opportunity every morning. God's grace and his mercies are new every morning. You get a chance to have a new life every time you wake up. I want you to think about that. If yesterday wasn't working for you, if last week was not working for you, guess what? If the Lord allows you to wake up in the morning, that's day one of your new life. And you have got to start thinking like that. You have got to start getting excited about what God is going to do in your life. So let's talk about no trespassing, because I'm not going to hold y'all long, because I got some stuff I got to do. I made a mess, long story. So I'm going to be spending the next few days cleaning it up. But anyway, it is what it is. I learned a lesson from it. So no trespassing. And I'm going to add a little bit on the end. Violators will be prosecuted. Not that you're going to do something to them, but when people hurt you, you better believe God is paying attention. You better believe God doesn't play about me, and God doesn't play about you. So not only are we saying no trespassing, you don't want to pay attention to that, you don't want to listen to me, I'm trying to warn you, I'm God's child. So don't come in trying to manipulate me. Don't come in trying to mistreat me and use me. I'm God's child. So no trespassing. So you guys, at some point, we all need to take a hard look at our lives and decide what's really working and what's not. And once we make a list of that, I tell y'all all the time, it's so good to write things down, things that you want to see change, plans of making some changes, some steps to try to help you stay focused. It is so good to do that because it keeps you accountable. It keeps you, when life distracts you, when emotions are all over the place, that piece of paper, hey Cindy, with your words on it, that does not change. So you need something stable and you need something that's real when life throws the hits at you that it's going to throw at you. So once you make that list of what you're going to change and what's not working, you have to make a decision about what you're going to do about it. It's one thing to whine and complain and gripe and all the other words we use about the same old stuff. My thing with people, I'm going to listen to you for a little bit. But then there's going to come a time where my tolerance is going to say, enough. Okay, I've been hearing you talk about this for months, for years. What are you going to do about it so you can quit talking about it? So that's what we want to do. We don't want to be people that just keep talking about things and being stuck where we are. We have got to make a conscious decision that our life is worth us putting in the work to make it better. And while we cannot control everything that happens, you guys, things are going to happen that are going to just knock us off our game, period. And there's not a whole lot we're going to be able to do about it. But what we do have the responsibility of doing is managing the things and maintaining the things that we do have control over. There's no sense in having something happen in your life and you just throw your hands up and you don't care about nothing anymore. No. In the middle of a storm, in the middle of confusion, you need to have your hands, just like they say in driver's ed, on 10 and 2, you need to steady the wheel. 10 and 2, that's what you can control. This car may be doing a bunch of stuff, but I'm going to put it on 10 and 2. That way I can keep it stable and I can at least keep it going in the right direction. That's how you have to do in life. Be stable in your thoughts. Be unmovable in your convictions, and understand that things are going to happen in life, but you cannot throw your hands up just because something happens to you and say, I don't care about anything anymore. I don't care how that works out, this, that, and the other, because it's not just about you. It's never just about you. If you have children, it's never about you. If you have friends, it's never about you. If you have family, it's never about you. So, in other words, it's never just about you. So, you can afford to do that. We have the responsibility of maintaining what we can control and then try to create the best outcome. And it's important, you guys, in order to be able to do that and have some control and maintain things and keep things on a level keel, you have got to set those boundaries. But boundaries don't mean anything if they don't have a purpose. You need to know why you don't want somebody coming over to your house at 10 o'clock at night. You need to know why you don't want somebody always calling you, asking you for money. You need to know why. Why is it that that's not acceptable? Because when you do that and you rationalize why it's important that you keep that boundary, you'll be less likely to fold. You'll be less likely to fall for the tears and the sob story and this, that, and the other that people do to manipulate us, especially people with a kind heart, especially people that love God and have compassion. People tend to want to take advantage of us, but you have got to have a purpose behind those boundaries. You got to understand that I'm setting this boundary because if I don't, this is going to happen. I'm setting this boundary because the last time I dropped my shield on that one, all hell broke loose. So I'm not going to do that again. So understand, boundaries are meant to do something. Number one, establish clear limits on what is okay and what's not okay. You have a right to say to people, that's not okay. Long gone are the days. I know for me, because I used to be a people pleaser and I wouldn't say anything. I would take it. Long gone are the days, I know, in my life. for me to allow people to talk to me any kind of way, to treat me any kind of way, and to do things around me that I don't like. I'm going to speak up, because you know what? You are accountable for what you allow to happen in your energy, in your little energy field, and how it's going to make you feel later. When you tolerate a bunch of stuff, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to feel bad about yourself. You're not going to be happy. You're going to be sad. You're going to be depressed. But you are allowing those things around you. So don't be afraid to push people away that don't want to do right. It's okay. Clear the way, because sometimes God wants you to get rid of some of the fluff that you've got around you anyway, and you won't do it just because you're so familiar with them. You're used to being around them. So sometimes he has to make it so uncomfortable for you to talk to them, be around them, to do what they do, to the point where you'll start backing off. Number 2, the boundaries are meant to establish clear expectations in a relationship. That's one thing I think most of us don't do. And then that's why we get so disappointed. Because in the beginning, I talked to you guys about how we need to do more of an interview. I did a talk that said the interview. That meant with male and female relationships, new friendships, new co-workers, all of that. We got to take time to sit down with people and let them know what we expect of them. And then we need to hear what they expect of us so we can decide if we can sign up for that or not. People are disappointed because a lot of times they put you on a pedestal, or you put them on a pedestal. Hey, Pam. And then they disappoint you. But y'all didn't have that conversation in the beginning. 9 times out of 10, y'all didn't sit down and say, you know what, this is not acceptable. When I call you, if you're busy, I expect you to call me back. You cannot not call me for 3 days. But if you don't ever tell somebody that, then they say, okay, you got a whole attitude. I called you back. What's your problem? You didn't sit down in the beginning and make clear expectations of what you expect this relationship to be. We all know that no relationship is perfect, but when everybody makes their needs and their wants clear from the beginning, you have a better chance of, even if the relationship doesn't work out, most of the time you can still be friends because you didn't lie to one another. You were honest about what you could and couldn't do. When people do that, that gives room for God to work. When you humble yourself and say, you know what, I've never been able to be faithful in my past, but I want to be. I want to be with just one man, or I want to be with just one woman. I just don't know how to do that. That's when God can work, when he knows the desire of your heart. He knows our flesh is weak. He knows what we've been around all our life, what we've seen, what those bad habits we've developed. He knows that. But when you're honest about what you really want to see manifest in your life versus what you're doing, God can go to work. And when you're honest with another person, then they can decide how much of their feelings to invest in you, because they know that you're not whole yet. You see what I'm saying? A lot of times we put on this mask of being whole and got it together, this, that, and the other. And then when a man done been with us a few months, he like, oh my Lord, what did I get myself into? This woman is broken. Because you put on a facade from the beginning. We don't have time for that. We're not going to keep doing that to people. And we're not going to let people do that to us. That's why you have to sit down and make it clear what you expect out of your relationships. And then boundaries are meant to protect your emotional and physical and most of all your spiritual well-being. When you don't have boundaries, you start feeling bad when you say no to people. People will try to thump you on the head with that Bible. You should be submissive. You should do this. And you're not giving enough. You're not doing enough. Y'all done heard it. And y'all have been a victim of it. So have I. So you have to set boundaries. That's why you have to know God for yourself. And you have to know what God expects of you. And stop allowing people to manipulate you with God's word. Because some people know it back and forth, y'all. And they know how to spin it, flip it, and rub it down. And make you feel like you're just the worst person in the world. That you're just the chief of sinners. But you have to be careful about that. You have to shut some things down, and you have to set some boundaries. Number 4, boundaries prevent you from being exploited and manipulated, just like what I said. Boundaries promote balance between what you need and what other people need from you. You have to have a balance, because you can't be taking from people all the time, but you can't also let them take from you all the time. There's got to be a balance with that, and you got to be able to recognize when I'm doing too much, when I'm talking too much, when I'm putting too much on my friend or on my significant other. When my significant other is tired. This is another one. And these are things I didn't recognize when I was married, when I was younger. I didn't understand what the attitudes were about. All I saw was the attitude on the surface and the meanness on the surface. But underneath there was a reason for that. But I wasn't mature enough to explore why in the world are people treating me like this. There's something more to it. So you have to understand what people need, but you also need to make your needs known so that you're not the one giving all the time. And then boundaries ensure that you are not always the person that's giving. You get to receive sometimes. And sometimes your receiving is just getting away from everybody and getting your peace. Sometimes that's what you need. When people are pulling on you all the time, they may not give anything back to you, but you can steal away and you can get your peace, and that's giving back to you. That's giving you time to recuperate, to regenerate, so that when you do have to deal with certain people again, you're ready. They haven't depleted you. You're not all tired and worn out. Now, with that said, you must stand firm. You must stand firm when you set boundaries. You know, that's just like with children. You know how we tell them don't do something. If you do it, you're going to get a whooping. If you do it, you're going to get grounded. As soon as they do it and you don't do something, they remember that. Even the smallest child, hey Nancy, the smallest baby recognizes when you bluffing. When you keep saying, all right, one more time. All right, I'm not going to keep telling you. All right. See, when you set boundaries, you have to show people the first time that you're not playing with them. And it sounds harsh, but the only way you're going to be able to keep your boundaries is to enforce them. You have to let people know that's not okay. You're going to lose your fellowship with me. You're going to lose your friendship with me. You're going to lose your closeness with me if you keep doing what you're doing. I'm not going to keep giving you chances to mess up after I've told you not to do a certain thing. So people are just like children. They'll try and see how much they get away. It's up to you to set the boundaries, but you must stand firm. Number 2, you must not allow your emotions to override your wisdom. That was one of my biggest problems in the past as a younger woman, is my emotions were always all over the place. You know, if somebody started crying, I gave in. Or I thought somebody was mad at me, I gave in. You know, just anything that tweaked my emotions, pretty much I lost the battle. And there came a point where it was so bad that I was overly sensitive. And I found that I was crying all the time and I was sad all the time. And I said, God, what is going on? And that's what he said. You allow your emotions to override your wisdom. You know what I've taught you. You know what you've seen. You know the lessons that you learned. Why are you allowing yourself to get back in the same situation because somebody say they love you, somebody say they need you, somebody say they miss you? Come on. I was letting my emotions override wisdom. And there came a time when God had to let me just keep getting my butt whooped. He had to keep letting me go through the same test over and over again until I got it. And I woke up one day and I said, enough. No more. I'm through crying about everything. I can't fix everything. That's not my job. I can't make everybody happy. That's not my job. I need to focus on me. I need to focus on my children. I need to focus on getting well and healing and getting my joy back. And the day that I did that, my life changed. I believe I was 44 when that happened. I started recognizing how bad it was when I was in my early 40s. But by 44, I don't know what it was about 44. Y'all, I looked in the mirror one day and I didn't recognize myself because I had compromised with everybody just trying to keep the peace. People were running over me, taking advantage of me, just disrespecting me. And I was allowing it because I was trying to fix everything. And then that day, I was just done. I said, whatever happens, happens. I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore. And I meant that. And when I realized that that was not my burden to bear, it took years, y'all, but I got my joy back. I got my peace back. I got the love for myself back. And I wouldn't trade that for anything in the world. So that's why I say when you set boundaries, understand you're going to lose some people. But you know what? Most of the time it's the people that you needed to get rid of in the first place. You just wouldn't let them go. And then it takes a certain character trait or a set of character traits in order to set boundaries that are actually effective. You have to respect yourself. Number one, you must respect yourself and others. You got to have that character trait where you carry a level of respect for yourself and you have a level of respect for everybody else. Number two, you have to be a good communicator. That means you got to talk about the stuff that don't nobody else want to talk about. You got to be willing to tell somebody when they're wrong and not worry about the consequences. You got to be willing to tell somebody when they're hurting you. Tell somebody when they're acting like a child, when they're being stubborn or when they're being mean and hateful. You're going to have to open your mouth. And that means setting those expectations. This means if you're not willing to talk to me, if you're going to continue to storm off and drive off and throw stuff and act a fool, then our communication is over. I'm not going to waste my time even in your space. You have to have that conviction that you deserve better. You have to have it. Because as long as somebody sees in you, as long as a manipulator, a user, and an abuser sees that there's a weak spot, they gonna wear it out. They gonna wear it out. They gonna be good for a little bit, then they gonna come back and they gonna wear it out. Because they see your weakness. They see your weakness. So it's not gonna happen overnight, but when you make up your mind, you're gonna get a little bit stronger. But you got to hold on to your convictions and you got to be willing to say no and mean it and put your foot down. And then number 4, you have to understand your own needs and your own limits. You know, you have to be a realistic person to say, you know what, I'm not 20-something anymore. I don't need all that fancy stuff. I don't need guys with all those muscles. I don't need to try to impress everybody. I'm 50-something years old. I can't do some of the stuff I could do when I was in my 20s. Don't want to. But you have to know yourself and say, you know what? I own where I am right now. And I know my limits and I know what doesn't serve me. And I don't look back and worry about what I didn't do, what I missed when I was younger. No, I got to accept myself for where I am, and I got to know my limitations and not let people push me past my limitations. That's why you have to have boundaries, because people will push you and push you and push you, and then when they break you, everybody stands back and with their hands behind their back to me. Ooh, I wonder what happened to Karen. Because you pushed her there. You took her there. So don't allow people to manipulate you. And family's bad about that, y'all. You have one life to live. You're an adult. You're responsible for your own life. You've got to make your own decisions. Number 5, that person must be confident and be able to articulate what you need another person to know. That means that you don't go around yelling at people, raising your voice, getting in these fights, cussing people out. When you're confident about who you are, you ain't got to do all that. It don't take all that for me to have a conversation with you. I can tell you about yourself and never say a curse word, never raise my voice. Because I'm above that. I don't have time for that. Are we going to talk or are you going to act a fool? That's my question. Are we going to really talk? Or if you're going to act a fool, I'm going to let you have it by yourself. I'm gone. So you have to have the confidence to know that there are times when you just simply need to walk away. It ain't worth it. It is not worth it. Because some people will never grow up. And you have to accept that. That has nothing to do with you. That is a them problem. That is not your problem. And you can't make anybody grow up any faster than they're ready to grow up. So you have to be able to articulate your needs and what you prefer in your life, how you want somebody to treat you, how you want somebody to talk to you, how you want somebody to deal with you when it comes to family relations and friends and this, that, and the other. You have to love yourself enough to speak up for yourself. 6, you got to have flexibility, because as the relationship grows, then the boundaries will change. You know, in the beginning, the boundaries are real tight because you don't know that person. You don't know what they're like. You don't know if they're for real. You don't know, if they're healed yet. But as you learn that person and grow to know that person and love that person, some of those boundaries are going to change. You can't be rigid your whole relationship. You're going to have to be willing to trust and take some chances on some things. So just understand, you got to be flexible, but you got to know the timing to loosen the boundaries. Number 7, you have to be an honest person. If you're going to be able to set boundaries that are really going to be effective, that are really going to bless your life, you got to be honest and transparent. There are certain things that trigger me, and I try to let people know, especially men that are bigger than me. I have a trigger when it comes to men that are bigger than me raising their voice or coming at me too fast. That's a trigger for me. It's not their fault. They didn't do anything to me, but I have to let them know, don't do that. You didn't do anything wrong. Just understand, because of what's happened to me in my past, that gets my heart racing. That makes me anxious when you do that. When you're yelling at me, it makes me feel like you're mad at me. Don't do that. You can sit down and you can talk to me. Keep your tone of voice down so that it's at a respectable level, because that triggers me. That makes me change the way I want to deal with you. So you have to be honest enough with people to let them know, this thing that you do, it does something negative to me, and I want you to stop it. I want you to stop it, because I'm telling you, because if you care about me, if you care about this relationship, if you want us to grow, you're going to have to stop doing that, because I've already told you, because I've been transparent and I've been honest and said that really bothers me, that scares me, and you keep doing it, then that lets me know that you're not all in. That lets me know that you're not willing to change to help our relationship to grow. And the same shoe falls on your foot. You have got to listen when somebody else is telling you, I don't like it when you're all in my face, putting your hand in my face. Men hate that. I don't like it when you're accusing me of doing something I didn't do. Men hate that. So you have to listen, but you also have to be honest and transparent. If you want to have an effective relationship, it doesn't have to be a relationship where you fall in love. Sometimes it's good friendships that last a lifetime because of mutual respect and understanding. I got some male friends that we never were romantic, or we tried and it didn't work out for whatever reason, but I love them to death. I would never want anything to separate us from being friends, because we went through some hard times together. We got to know each other for real. We got to understand through mistakes and through honesty and transparency how to treat one another. That's why we can still be friends. But you have to be willing to open up and be vulnerable. And everybody can't do that. Everybody doesn't have Miss Christelle. Everybody does. Hey, Miriam. Everybody doesn't have that character trait of being honest and transparent. I didn't have it when I was younger. I was honest, but I was always afraid to open up to people, to tell them how I really felt, because I didn't really want anybody to be upset with me. I wanted everybody to think I was okay all the time. Now I'm okay with saying, you know what? I don't know what it was, but today was just rough. I just need some quiet time. And I'll tell people, I just need some quiet time. I'm going to turn this phone off and turn off social media. I just want to listen to my music. I want to have a glass of wine. I want to sit in my house. I want to sit out in my backyard. You have to be honest and transparent with people. People will respect that. And that moves to my next characteristic, number 8. You got to have integrity. When you're not a person of integrity, why would anybody take you seriously when you try to set your little boundary? They'd be like, she said I can't do that. Girl, bye. Because they don't have no respect for you because you have not shown them that you have integrity. And integrity is basically holding yourself accountable. What you say, mean what you say, do what you say you're going to do. And when you're wrong, make it right. That's integrity. And you have to prioritize your own well-being and not compromise your values, even when it's hard. Sometimes you just want to go along to get along, but it don't feel right. They're going to talk about you. They're going to cast you out. Whatever. It's worth it to have the peace. And it took me years to figure that out. I wish I would have understood when I was younger that it's okay to not be invited. It's okay that people don't recognize the good stuff that you do. Now I get it now. I don't look for recognition now. But when I was younger, it was like I was working hard. I was doing the best I could. I was trying to be a good person. And nobody was patting me on the back. Now I will say something. I'm glad Nancy's on here. Nancy was one of the only people, even when I was a younger mom, because I've been knowing Nancy a long time. She used to always tell me, you are such a good mom. I'm so proud of you. And I had never heard that before. When she first did it, I didn't even know how to receive it. Didn't know how to receive it because nobody had ever patted me on the back for all my hard work. And she does that. She does. I'm trying not to get emotional, but she does that. And she has no idea how many times that got me through, especially when I was younger and when I was raising my kids. She knows the stuff that I've gone through with husbands and abuse. She knows about that. But she always had a kind word. And that's why it is so important, you guys, for us to uplift one another, because you don't know how bad somebody's struggling. You have no idea when somebody's feeling like throwing in the towel. So if you can't say something nice, don't say nothing at all. If you can't be kind, stay to yourself. If you can't encourage somebody, figure out what's wrong with you. Because we all have something to be thankful for, to where we should be able to encourage somebody else. You need to figure out what's wrong with you, why you're not grateful. Because to be encouraging to others is saying to God, God, I thank you. You didn't have to do what you did for me. So God, whatever you did for me, do it for them. Do it for her. I know how she feels. Do it for her. That's what it means to be encouraging. And let's talk about transparency. Again, you have to be careful. On the same token, you have to have discernment about who you can tell what. You have to have the characteristic to be able to be transparent, but you also have to have the discernment of knowing who you can be transparent with. Because some people will find out your secrets and they will use it against you. So you have to pray to God about, what, Lord, I want to share this with them. God, tell me if they're my friend or they're my enemy. So make sure you're praying about it before you open up everything about you to somebody, because sometimes people aren't who they say they are. And sometimes they can pretend for years that they love you. And as soon as you open up and you tell them what's really going on with you, then you find out that they're actually an enemy. And so while you're setting your boundaries, you guys, you have got to make up your mind what things are deal breakers, what things you absolutely 100% are not going to tolerate it. And you have to be willing to execute it. When somebody does something that you absolutely will not tolerate, my thing is when somebody calls me out of my name. When you do that, I'm not going to say we're not going to be friends, but you've lost the closeness that we once had. Because if it took that energy, if it was so easy for you to call me out of my name, that means you've been thinking about that for a long time. So we'll never have the same relationship that we had. So for me, that's a deal breaker when it comes to being close to somebody. If they can call me out my name, I'm not going to allow myself to be intimate with them. I'm not going to allow myself to be close with them. So that's just one of my deal breakers. A liar, that's a deal breaker for me because it's not necessary. You ain't got to lie to kick it. Not with me. Not with me. I don't care what you've done, who you've done it with. But don't lie about it. I'm not your judge and jury. So I can't stand a liar. Because to me, if I'm around you for years and years and I find that you've lied, I feel bad about the fact that I didn't recognize you for who you were. I started checking myself like, where your spiritual sense at? Where your Holy Ghost at if you couldn't see all the stuff that person was doing, all the stuff that person was lying about? You need to go to God about your spirit of discernment because they tricked you for a lot of years. And I don't like being fooled. I want people to be who they are. You don't have to pretend with me. You don't have to act like you got a lot of money with me because I'm not going to play that game with you. If I can't afford to do something, I'm going to tell you now, you go on and go, baby. My pockets ain't like that today. I don't mind telling you I can't afford to do something. And even if I can, if I don't want to spend that money on it, I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to play with you. I'm not going to go buy this and buy that to try to compete with you. No, ma'am. That's not who I am. So I don't want people pretending with me. And then we are the only ones who can stop people and situations from trespassing against everything we've worked so hard for. Because we've worked hard, y'all, to get to the point where we are. I know everybody on this page right now. And we done been through some stuff and we done worked hard to get to the point where we are now. And it don't make sense to let somebody come in, an outsider, let somebody from your past, let somebody that don't mean you any good, come in and trample over everything you worked so hard for. So let's define trespassing. When I looked it up, it said to take advantage of or to commit offense against a person or a set of rules. So that means that person purposely did that to you. That person purposely came into your life to disrupt you. They came with a purpose, and it's not a good purpose. That's what a trespasser is. They coming in to get the gossip so they can go tell everybody else. They try to get close to you so they can go tell everybody else. I'm going to tell you a prime example of this. I won't mention no names. There was a death of somebody that I knew, and the wife, girlfriend, whatever you want to call her, you know, she was cool with like this group of people, and they were like in this club. I won't even say what kind of club. This club. And so they came over to the house, you know, because the dude was in the club, and, you know, and so they came over like people do, you know, when somebody dies, and sit around with you and eat and talk and whatever. They sat around with her and did all this talking and whoop, 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 everything she said. Now, mind you, she just lost the person she loved. And they were just leading the conversation, talking about different people. And she was voicing her opinion about different people. Do you know those same people that sat with her at that table went back and told some of the other people what she said and started a whole big old mess? And that's when somebody is grieving. So I know how people will do. You have to be careful about what you let come out of your mouth, because some people are just there to trespass, to start some mess, to keep some drama going. So you have got to ask God to help you to recognize those type of people, and ask God to help you to know when to keep your mouth closed. Because when you're grieving and when you're hurting or when you're angry or when you're disappointed, sometimes we don't think about what we're saying. That happened to me as a young girl. My sister, the one that's older than me, I had a classmate. She was a bully. She was bigger than everybody else, and she used to fight everybody else and was just hateful and mean. And her boyfriend liked my sister. And I think they were on a grade above us, like my sister. And so me with my big mouth, because she was talking to me one day, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. And I don't know why I mentioned his name. And I said, I don't know why he won't leave my sister alone. Why did I do that? After school, we was all in this big old fight because of something I said. You see what I'm saying? She was a trespasser. She was talking to me to get information from me, and I was just giving it to her. And all the while, she wanted to fight my sister. All the while, she couldn't wait for an opportunity to have a reason to fight her. So I learned at a young age that everybody that's up in your face smiling, everybody that's acting like they like you, is not always your friend. So let's talk about how we allow people and situations to trespass over our lives. Let's talk about how we allow it to trespass against our health. You know, we are the main enemy to our own health. So we're one of the people that trespass against our own body sometimes. We do things in our own body. We eat things we shouldn't. We're lazy. We lay around. We're our own worst enemy. Everything that we know to do, you know, they say when you know better, you do better. That is not true. There's a lot of things I know, but I don't do it. So the fact that we talk about what we're going to do to get our health right, what we're going to do and how we're going to do this, and by next year this is going to be happening, then we never do it. So we're the main enemy to our own health. And then we prioritize everything over our health. When it comes to chasing after money, working extra hours, you know, working 2 jobs when you really don't have to because you're trying to keep up with everybody else because you like designer this, designer that, because you're driving a fancy car, but you can't hardly pay your rent or pay your mortgage. You know, all to try to impress somebody, all to post on social media and try to make somebody else jealous of you. And then you're hustling all the time, just trying to make more money and thinking that that's going to make you happy. Well, we forget that our health is our wealth. You can have all the money in the world you want. And if you're not healthy, if you're sick and can't enjoy it, what's the point? I deal with some patients that have plenty of money, but they're the most miserable people in the world because they're sick. They spent their younger years hustling, working for the money, doing everything they could to make sure they had a certain type of lifestyle. And then when they got older, their bodies gave out. And so now they got all this money, and then now they got to worry about the grandkids trying to put them away somewhere, the kids trying to put them away and get their money and get them to sign stuff that they don't know about. All of that's happening because you prioritize your money over your health. Because there's plenty of elderly people that have their right mind, that are physically fit and can take care of themselves. But it's when you push your body too far for too long, chasing after the wrong things. You know, God says in His Word that we're supposed to seek Him first, and then everything else will be added to us. You know, I had to kind of get that concept about not trying to do too much, because at one while I was trying to go to school for real estate, and I'm thinking, you already got a full-time job, Karen, what are you doing? I can't even explain why I was trying to do that. I just wanted to make more money. But what would I have been giving up? I would have been working a full-time job Monday through Friday and doing that on the weekends and even after work Monday through Friday. That would have affected my health. And so God had to give me that revelation, and I had to make a decision. Either I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that, but you cannot do both. And so I had to make a decision, and I'm glad that I did. And then we don't pray like we need to. We don't pray about things when it comes to our body for God to give us wisdom on what we should eat, what herbs we should take, what things we should be doing, to have more longevity. We don't pray about those things. And then we don't receive proper health care. And sometimes that's not your fault. You go to a doctor that really don't care. They're all about the money. They don't take care of you. They don't get your screenings. They don't find things that are wrong with you. And then by the time somebody else finds it, you're in a bad situation. So sometimes that's not your fault. You tried to go, but you just were under the care of the wrong person. And then sometimes we're being overly medicated, but not educated. That's why it's so important, you guys, to ask questions. Don't just pop pills. Ask questions. Look at the side effects. Count up the cost before you take a certain type of treatment or a certain type of medication. Make that doctor work to find more natural solutions for you. You are not a machine that you can keep throwing pills in. Something is going to happen to your body with all of that stuff mixing together. You have got to love yourself enough to speak up for yourself, even when it comes to your health care. Because there's a lot of laziness out there, and that's starting from the bottom all the way up to the top. So you have to speak up and make them do right by you. Make them do right by you. And if they won't, you have the right to move to somebody else. Keep moving until you find somebody that cares, somebody that is truly invested in your well-being, and somebody that listens to you. And number 6, the ads on TV and social media. They fight against our health because they're encouraging everybody to be ashamed of their bodies. They're encouraging everybody to be a size 2, size 3, when that's just not healthy for everybody. They're encouraging you to take things to make you lose weight really fast, which is not healthy for your body. I can't tell you how many patients we've had that passed out because of low blood sugar. How many patients we've had that have gone through the emergency room because they're constipated, because their GI tract shut down, because they can't eat, because they're throwing up. But we listen to the TVs, we listen to the doctors, we listen to social media. We don't even listen to our bodies when it's saying this is not good for us. All we're thinking about is the outcome that we're going to get because we want what they've showed us. But we're our own worst enemy when it comes to our health. And number 7, another way that we trespass against our health is not having a plan for stress management. If you don't plan for stress management, guess what? Stress will handle you. Stress got a plan for you. It's called high blood pressure. It's called strokes. It's called headaches. It's called respiratory diseases. It's called mental illness, depression, anxiety. Stress got a plan for you. So you better come up with a plan to help handle your stress. Stress is coming, but you got to know how to manage it before it manages you. So let's move on. Number 2, how can people and situations trespass against our safety? Well, staying in a mentally or physically abusive situation will trespass against your safety. If you got to be afraid all the time, if you're ducking and dodging all the time, if you're afraid to go home, that person is trespassing against you. Taking a job that's unsafe or hazardous just because it pays good. Do you know them people don't care about you? You are just a number. So you do a job that you know is dangerous, that you know that you may go in and never come out. You may go to work and never come home. And you think the money that they pay you is worth that. You don't value your life. You don't value how much you mean to somebody else. But some people, all they see is dollar signs and they're willing to risk it all. So that's how we trespass, and we allow other people to trespass against our safety because we don't speak up and say, no, this is a 3-man job. This is not a 1-man job. Quit trying to make me do stuff by myself because that's not safe. I need 2 other people here so that we can follow the safety guidelines so everybody goes home. But you got to speak up for yourself, because they'll do it. They'll stretch you thin. They don't care. All they're trying to do is to get the most work out of you for the less money. And then allowing others to pull you into disputes when you haven't been given all the facts. Emotional manipulation is what that is. When people are always telling you their side of the story, instead of letting you find out the whole truth and nothing but the truth. That's because they're trying to pull you into something with only their viewpoint. And we have to say time out on that. We have to recognize BS when we hear it. We got to ask some questions like, okay, well, what made him do what he did? What made him say what he said? How did that end up over there? Usually people will get mad at you when you don't stick to their side. They don't want you to ask questions. They want you to listen, and they want you to co-sign on what they're doing and what they want you to do. So you have to be smart enough to understand your piece is too valuable to walk into a problem, to walk into the fire unprepared. And you have to learn how to say, you know what, this don't sound right. And I had to do that to a family member. She pulled me into something, and of course, because we were close, I was all emotional. I was all in it. Before you knew it, when I tell you there was so much more to that story, I was mad at the end, not at him. I was mad at her. By the time it was over, took a whole day to find out the whole story. And when I when I went into it, something didn't seem right. So I made sure I was careful about the moves that I made and the things that I said. I'm like, something just, you just feel that something ain't right. This don't make sense to me. Make it make sense. She couldn't make it make sense. And come to find out at the end of the day, when everybody started talking and being mad and telling stuff, I said, okay. I got in my car. I left. I was done. Because that was the spirit of manipulation, trying to pull me into something with half-truths. So be careful. People will do that. Family will do that. Be very careful. Or close friends will do that too. So y'all need to be careful. Don't you make a move until you know for sure everything that's going on. Because people know your triggers. Because we allow people to control us with our emotions. And people learn you. They learn you. They learn your triggers. Oh, well, if I call her and if I cry a little bit, or if I start talking about the Lord, she'll do this, she'll do that. People learn you. So you have to let them know that you don't know me as well as you think you do. You have to get control of your emotions, and you have to use your wisdom to get to the facts. Get to the facts. And then we trust people without first making them prove that they're trustworthy. Guilty as charged, y'all. Guilty. Guilty. And now my circle is so small, y'all. Simply because most people, they ain't what they say they are. And it's okay. Hey, Roderick, it's okay. I've learned to love people for who they are. But now I see who I can trust and who I can't. And I love them. And I deal with them. But I already know not to go to that level. It's just certain places, certain levels, certain rooms in my life that they'll never be invited into, because I know them now. I know that they're not trustworthy. I know that they're not the ones. But I love them just the same, because I thank God that He showed me that, so that I didn't open up and let them in places and they tore the whole thing up. So it's better to know than not know in those situations. And then also stop letting old demons finesse their way back into your life. When you have worked so hard to get past something, to get past some old behaviors, to get past them old relationships that broke you down, stop letting them text messages, late night calls pull you back in. Don't let them finesse you. You are not that same person that you were when they broke you, when they had you doing what they wanted you to do. So you need to set those boundaries and say, good to hear from you, but I gotta go. Keep it short. I got to go. They'll get the message after a while, but don't entertain. Don't play around with it. Don't entertain them demons from your past, because they crafty. Oh, they finesse. They know the words. They know what to say now, because they know they got to deal with you different now. But what I tell them, I appreciate you dealing with me different, but you don't even know the person you're dealing with. So let's just not. Let's just not. We good. I'm not mad at you. You don't be mad at me. I wish you the best. We good. So don't entertain that and let them distract you like that. And then another thing that we do, that's right, Denise, don't play with snakes. Another thing that we do is we allow people to get us so worked up that we fight our own battles, instead of allowing God to come to our rescue, instead of allowing God to handle people. And I've gotten so much better at that. I ain't going to say I'm 100%, because some people just need to be dealt with, real talk. But as much as I can, I try to bridle my tongue. I try to get away from people. I try to distance myself from people that are trying to do messy, negative things and things to hurt me or stop my progress. I know how to get away from you. I'm good being by myself. I'm good with my little personal space. So I don't even have to deal with you. But best believe I'm talking to God about you. And one thing I've learned just being here, as long as I've been here, is that God will let you see how he deals with people. And I've seen some things firsthand. I've seen some people die young. I've seen some people whose life just went to HE double hockey sticks. I've seen some people get treated the way they treated me and couldn't handle it. You know, I've seen it all. And I thank God that I let go of them so God could deal with them. So hopefully they won't treat anybody else or don't try to do what they did to me to anybody else. So that's why it's so important to forgive people and give them to God, because God can get them back so much better than you can. It's over a lifetime, y'all. God will deal with people over a lifetime for what they did to you. So you ain't got to worry about that. And number 3, how can situations and people trespass against your peace? Number 1, when we operate in resentment or unforgiveness, just what I said, we allow people to hold us captive because we won't forgive them, because we resent what they did. Like I said, instead of giving it over to God. Because one thing I've learned is to never block the door to forgiveness, because God may send that person to you later on, and because you're harboring unforgiveness and resentment, you talk crazy to them when they're trying to come to you and actually apologize. God may be dealing with them. That's why years later they're coming to apologize. God wouldn't let them rest with what they did with you, but you could turn something beautiful into a curse by how you deal with people. That's why you don't have time to harbor resentment or unforgiveness, because you may be the person that's working against God by how you treat that person when they come to apologize to you. You could set them all off course. They may never apologize to anybody again because you cussed them out and acted a fool with them, because you hadn't forgiven them, because you still mad. So understand, it's not about you all the time. Sometimes you have to swallow your pride and just accept the apology, because God is doing something in that person. And I personally don't want to be the one to step in God's way. I want people to be healed so they'll quit hurting other people. So what if they hurt me? Okay, but I don't want them hurting anybody else. I don't want them mistreating anybody else. So how you respond to people when God has humbled them to come and ask your forgiveness is so important. You have got to get your flesh out of the way and understand, for that person to come to you and say you're sorry, that's not them, that's God. So you need to look at it as God and stop looking at it as the person, and just say, thank you, Lord, for letting me still be here long enough to get the apology that I know that person owed me. And I pray that you change their life so they don't have to keep doing this to other people. So always lock the door or put up a no trespassing sign. Number one, when old habits or toxic people from your past come knocking on the door because they see you doing better. We've all had that experience. People that didn't give us a second thought, people that was mean to us, talked about us, mistreated us, men, women, all of them, preachers, teachers, all of them, that had something negative to say, and then when they see you doing good, all of a sudden they want to drop your name. Oh yeah, I know Karen. Oh yeah, Karen, yeah, I grew up in the same neighborhood. Quit dropping my name. Tell them all of it. Tell them what you did. We're not close. Quit saying my name. You know, people will try to do that when they see that you have favor. Then all of a sudden they want to be in the entourage with you. Do not allow those people to trespass in your life. Leave them on the outside where they were when you weren't doing good. Leave them there. Don't invite them into the party now that you are doing good. Don't let them trespass on your life. And don't you buy nothing they selling. People that say, well, I've changed this, that, and the other. If you got to tell me you changed, you hadn't changed. I should be able to watch your life and see that you've changed. I'm not trying to buy that. Number two, when you feel yourself being tricked by the enemy, what you going to do? When you find that I feel like I'm slipping back into my old ways, what are you going to do? You need to stop and pray about it. Pray for strength. Talk to somebody that's stronger than you. Talk to somebody and say, I don't want to do that no more, but that's all I've been thinking about. That's all I've been talking about. Can you help me? Can you spend some time with me? Because I don't want to be that person that I used to be. That's when those good friends, those friends that really love you, will come through for you and say, no, we don't come too far for you to go back to doing that. We don't come too far for you to be entertaining so-and-so. No, we finna block this number. Matter of fact, let me text them and tell them who I am and to never call you again and lose this number because you are blocked. Block them off social media. That's when you got a friend that loves you. They don't mind stepping in there and doing what's best for you. And you need that sometimes. And understand that two of the greatest tricks of the enemy that we've all fallen for. Nobody is exempt. We've all fallen for these same two things. Number one, comparing ourselves to other people. We've all done it. We've all done it. Looked over at somebody else and said, man, she seemed like she's doing better than me. Man, he seemed like he got more money than me. He got better women than me. This, that, and the other. We've all done it. We've done it. And then number two, believing that we're not enough, just as we are. We've all had those feelings of inadequacy. And it was funny, I called my friend Rashida called me, I want to say it was last week. And I was having a moment where I was just like, Lord, you know, am I doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing? And I just asked Rita, I said, do you think I'm doing okay? Are we doing okay? Rita said, oh yeah, we doing real good. She just brought me out of that real quick. Because I was just having some doubts. Should I be doing something more with my life? Should I be this? Should I be that? Am I really doing okay? Baby, she brought me out of that in less than 5 minutes. And we didn't even talk about that no more. You need people that love you enough to say, girl, you are all right. You are all right. Think about where we came from and where we are now. You are all right. Quit looking at everybody else. Quit trying to live up to everybody else's expectation. You are good where you are right now. So just believing that we are not enough, just as we are, which causes us to lust after temporary things that can only make us happy for a little while, and then we're back to feeling the way that we're feeling. He loves it when he can do that to us. Thank you, Nancy. He loves it when he can do that, when he can make you feel bad about yourself. Then he'll give you a little temporary pleasure and let you strut around thinking you somebody, and then he likes to watch you fall back. We've all fallen for that. And number three, I said two, but number three, allowing others to change our mood and giving them the power to affect our day. We do that. We've all done that. We've We've all come into a situation in a good mood and we let one person ruin it for us. We let one person change our whole attitude. We've all done it. The enemy loves that because he's always going to have somebody in the room that don't like you. You might as well be prepared for that. I don't care if they all smiling. And I have to learn to watch the room. When I get with a bunch of women, I'm real quiet because I'm watching the room. I watch how when certain people say things, how the ones be rolling their eyes, cutting out. The same ones that be just hugging, hey girl, you know I love you. Baby, if you stand back and watch, the jealousy is in the room. And when you observe that enough, you understand that. Don't think that I'm exempt. I know it happens when I'm in the room. But I'm not going to let that person affect the joy that I'm feeling around the people that actually care about me. And as long as we go on this journey in life, we should be becoming wiser. And get wiser as we go. We must recognize how precious our time is, y'all, and our energy is. And this is why we can't just allow anybody and everybody to enter into our personal space. Because some people come to trespass and disrupt while others come to bless your life. And you have to know the difference. We must sharpen our discernment by praying and staying close to God. Because remember, 3 people know you better than anybody else. That's you, that's God, and that's the enemy. And the enemy's job is to send people into your life to trigger you, to distract you, and to throw you off your game. But it's up to you not to let them come in and trespass over your life. That's why you have to have boundaries. There's certain people that I've known for years. You can only come so far with me. Because I'm going to stop you. I'm going to stop communicating with you. Because you ain't going no further. Because I already know you. This is your level right here. You can't go to another level. And the goal of a trespasser is to distract you. His job is to discredit you and cause you to lose influence and favor. And his job is to cause you to be dysfunctional and make you almost lose your mind. That's what a trespasser does. He throws you off your game. He makes you lose confidence in yourself. He makes people lose confidence in you. If you let him. If you let him. That's why it's so important that we put up our no trespassing sign for those people that God has shown us. They're either part of our past and don't mean us any good, or they're trying to come along in our future and don't mean us any good. And you need God to discern that for you. And you need to allow them to go in certain rooms, and other rooms, lock the door. They can't come through. Your final thought? So, I'm going to challenge each and every one of us when we pray to ask God for 4 things. First thing, ask God to order your steps so that everything you do is in line with the purpose God has for your life. Number 2, I'm going to ask God to help us bridle our tongue so that we only speak life, prosperity, and health over ourselves and the people around us. Sometimes we just talking too much, you guys. We are speaking curses and damnation on people. Just be quiet and ask God to help you to say the things that's going to actually make a positive difference. And help you be quiet when you're not. Help you be quiet when you're in a bad mood. Help you be quiet when you're feeling sorry for yourself. Help you be quiet when you're sitting up being jealous of other people. God, bridle our tongues and make us understand that what you got to say is not always important. Sometimes you just need to be quiet if you can't say something nice. Number 3, that God allows us to walk through every door that's meant for us. And if it's not meant for us, that God will give us discernment to know the difference. So that we're just not going here, there, and the other. And then we're trying to figure out why we're struggling because you didn't belong there. You weren't supposed to be doing that thing that you did. But you didn't ask God if that was for you. And number 4, Ask God to show you who and what is trying to trespass against you in your life. What's trying to distract you, what's trying to discredit you, and what's trying to cause you to be off your game and be dysfunctional. And when God shows you, ask God to give you the strength to cut those people loose, to put up the boundaries that you need, to distance yourself from those people so that you can set up the necessary boundaries to protect your energy. You deserve a prosperous life. You deserve a life of peace, a life of love, but everybody doesn't want to see that for you. And you have to understand that it's nothing personal. It's just the enemy's job. When he sees you're doing good, he needs people to feel bad. He needs people to feel like God is not with them. He needs people to say, there is no God. So what better way than to send people that you trust, send people that smile in your face around you, to be subtle and to do those things behind the scene that can throw you off and that can knock you off your track to your purpose. So let's pray. Father God, first of all, I want to say thank you for Sister I Got You and each and every one of the members. God, you have blessed each and every one of us more than we can even say thank you for. And God, I ask that you continue to grow this group as you see fit. God, continue to bless the hearts of the men and women on this group. God, help us to open up and be more encouraging and be more loving and be more transparent and honest with other people, and understand that whatever we're going through, somebody else is going through it too. Sometimes you just need to hear that somebody else is dealing with the same thing, and that'll give you the strength to make it through. And God, I just thank you for what you've done, for what you're going to do. I thank you for the doors that you're opening for each and every one of us. I thank you, God, that you are going to shut the doors that we don't need to go through, and you're going to help us to understand the difference. And God, I just ask you to just continue to shine your light on us. Continue to bless us with your grace and your mercy. We are thankful because we know that we are filthy rags, God. We know we can't get it right. We are sinners saved by grace, Father God, and we thank you so much for your grace. And thank you for loving us with our imperfect selves, God. And God, I ask that you bless everyone on this page, and let's keep moving forward. We're not going backwards. We're not turning our head to the back. We're not letting those demons from our past ride along with us in our cars to our future. God, help us to be strong. Help us to set the boundaries we need to set to be good people, productive people, and move forward in our purpose. In Jesus' name I pray, and I ask it all. And amen. Love y'all. Thank y'all for all the birthday wishes, and let's keep it moving forward. I love you, and I will see y'all next week. Lord, say the same. All right, have a good rest of your day. I'm gonna go find me some food, and then I got some work to do around this house. It's a long story. You ain't got enough time. But anyway, love y'all. Thank y'all so much for your encouragement. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you for your encouragement and your support. And let's keep Sister I Got You going. Let's pray for whoever needs prayer. Let's post encouraging words. Let's show pictures of us living our best life. That's one thing I want people to start doing. I love you too, Nancy. What I want people to start doing, it's not braggadocious for people to see you enjoying your life. Let people see you enjoying your life, because you know what? That encourages people that if God did it for you, he can do it for them too. So, those wins, you guys, those milestones, no matter how small, just know that it's okay with me. I created the page. It's okay with me if you post those things, and let us see you living your best life. Love y'all. See y'all later. Mwah. Bye.